Hello and welcome to your one card reading of the week. And this week your card is the card of the clouds. And the card of the clouds is a magnificent card because it is always one of transitional energy. So we see this card divided in a sort of a diagonal shape. We see dark clouds on the left and the sun on the right. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you have a look at this card for the moment, find out what stands out to you in this card. It can be one thing, it can be several things. And then we're going to get back to the meaning of the card and what it means for you in your life. So I'll give you a moment with it and then I'll get back to you. If you're drawn to the left side of this card in this sort of dark sky, this is often coming with a feeling of feeling low and feeling down and feeling drained. And the darker part of the sky you're drawn to, the sort of lower vibrational energy that it has. The important thing we need to remember with this is the only way is up from this point. It is sort of the lowest of the low, it's sort of the rock bottom. And since it is a transitional card of that sort of energy of evolution and moving forward, and we see that in Gypsy cards we always read from left to right, so this is something that has happened or just happened, it's right now, but moving out of this old sort of dead heavy energy. It's a very heavy energy. This can be feelings of the past, hurts, troubles, worry about other people. I often see this card with this colour of this grey as one of anxiety, because the colour grey is that of the unknown. It's the colour of possibilities. It's unwritten. And that's the feeling that we get when we feel anxious or worried. So if you're drawn to the grey kind of energy, then understand that it's not going to hang around. It's like when we go through storms, we absolutely know for certain that the sun is going to come out again and it's going to dry up all the rain, and then we're going to just move on and carry on with our lives. So in life we always go through storms and things like that, but they never stick around. They never ever stay around. It doesn't happen. So if you're feeling that heavy energy or feeling just drained, know that that positive transitional energy is going to be coming through very, very shortly. Now, I've mentioned in the past couple of weeks actually, that November is a month that is quite traumatizing for many people. And this is because December is that period where everybody seems to have this collective consciousness of happiness. You know, everybody's celebrating Christmas around, or people that don't celebrate Christmas still feel that sort of community consensus of happiness. Some people don't have a happy Christmas because of past circumstances, but in general the month of December is a very happy time for most people. So we do get excited just vibrationally around that time. The problem is that November is the time where we have that moment in time to think about all the things that are coming up in the new year. But Christmas is very much a very time of rush. So November, I feel, is a very heavy month. So is February, because it comes after that, that peak and that ecstasy that January has, because January is that month of hope, of this beautiful new year, a new fresh start. And we can make a fresh start at any time, but it's more formal in things like that when it's the actual first of the year. Especially people that are particularly ritualistic and a bit obsessive compulsive, that need that starting point. So people that have to start their diet or things like that on a Monday to make that new start, or to quit smoking or drinking on a Monday, there has to be a formal day. And that's the problem with November. It's that feeling that's sort of bubbling up inside, that knows that all these new expectations and pressures, etc., are going to come up, for 2015. So if you're feeling drawn to that particular area of the grey, that know that things will get better, and this is simply a transitional energy, and when that happens we just start to be a little bit over worried and a little over anxious. If you're drawn to the lightning bolt that is in the card, this is an epic warning of drama. Electrical energy is something, it's something of a spectacle. This is a warning to stay away from people that are, typical to cause drama or to have drama in their lives. This is going to put a bit of a dampener on the pre-Christmas period if you entertain these kind of people. And this is, the person that's always something going on with them. It's like suddenly, you're going through this nice, smooth flowing phase, and then you know that, oh, here they are again, a new drama's going to come up. It's important to distance yourself from these types of people for the next couple of weeks. This can often even represent the client too, so be very careful if you are the type of person that if you were to fly above your life and have a look at the things you've been doing, if you see repetition there, if you seem to keep doing the same mistakes over and over again, it's a warning to say, hey, you need to assess the situation from a little bit of a different perspective. This is a bit of a wake-up call. Often clients could be the type to tend to make mountains out of molehills. So make sure that you're not being dramatic about situations and circumstances. If somebody is behaving in a way that is odd or strange, don't necessarily jump to the conclusion that it is about you, because probably it is not. But what happens is with people like this, that it ends up becoming a problem about them. So for example, say Guy in a client's life is not talking to them. The client automatically thinks, I've done something wrong. They will say to the guy, what have I done? Why aren't you talking to me? Is there something wrong with me? Then the guy sort of says, what's going on? There's nothing going on that I'm worried about you. And they say, yeah, hell yes there is. And then he starts, turning his attention negatively towards this person, which didn't even exist in the first place. So this is an epic warning. If you are drawn to this and if you are like that, but you really need to be careful of how you react to people around you and the situations, because it's not going to be about you, but it is going to become about you if you go about it in the wrong way, and that is not what we want. If you are drawn to the tree itself, the tree is always a symbol of knowledge. The important part about this is this tree is in the dark, and as I always say, everything is gestated in darkness and strives towards the light. Now, if this knowledge is in the dark, this tree of knowledge, this tree of evolving, dropping its seeds into the earth and growing new things, we've got a bit of a problem. There's a bit of stagnation and a stasis there, which shows that we're not evolving enough. So 2015 is a time that you need to push yourself more in areas of evolving your brain, your creativity, career. Those areas need to be pushed more. Otherwise, it's just going to be what happens to a tree that belongs outdoors. It's left in the dark. It's going to wither. It's going to get slimy, rot, and just sort of die inside. And that is not what we want. So it's very important to always keep your mind on evolving oneself. So yes, we do go to work, yes, we do all these things, but we still need to do those things that encourage and nourish our souls in order for us to, evolve mentally and evolve creatively and things like that. So if you're drawn to the tree, then now you know why that is. And that tree is in the dark and it wants to be lit by that sun. We can see that the sides of it are illuminated by this sun breaking through. If you're drawn to this hole at the top that's next to the 6, this hole in the sky, this is a symbol of optimism. It is that inner desire to want to have good things come into your life. Now, everybody wants good things to come into their life in general, but it's very different to want something and to actively get it. Now, I'm going to touch on this subject, which I see a lot about, and it's a subject that is incredibly twisted and misunderstood by so many people, including readers. And I'm going to touch on law of attraction and manifesting abundance. Now, as we know, The Secret is a book that was written many years ago. It's a big fad. It was a big fad. Oprah raved about it. Before this, Jerry and Esther Hicks wrote so much about law of attraction, and it is reading material that I highly recommend, and I'm going to put links below to what I recommend for this particular area and what this means in this particular card with this hole up the top of this optimism and wanting to create these things in your life to really push away the negativity. Many people believe that they can stick a picture of something they want on the wall and it magically comes to them. It's like putting a picture of a Bugatti up on the wall and going, that's what I want, and just staring at it every day and thinking that just looking at it is manifesting it. Now, most people know that I am a reader that does not believe in fairies in the gardens and things like that, to that extent that it's almost a parody. It's very important to understand that a picture is a picture. You looking at a picture is simply you looking at a picture. It's the same as when somebody gets, a tarot deck and they believe that somebody needs to gift it to them for it to become magical, or people to believe that, an inanimate object somehow has magical properties. It is what you give energy-wise worth to that item or to that idea that makes it special. It's not the picture and it's not the wish. It is not about thinking, it is about feeling that vibrational energy to match that desire, if that makes sense. So many readers do promote this idea of prosperity and, vision boards and things like that. But vision boards have been used for decades and decades. A good example is Amway Distributors. Always use vision boards all over the place. They will have their office, they will have a vision board up, it'll have, their dream home, their dream car on there. But the difference is that these people know that they actually have to work to get it. Whereas many readers believe that if you put a picture on the wall, that somehow this magical angel's going to fly down and give you this house and say, oh, wow, lucky me. I've had this picture on the wall and I've got it now. It's just silly. It's very negligent, and it leads people into a belief that they can wish these things into their life. And unfortunately, what happens is that these people believe these things, and 10 years down the track, they're in the same damn position as they were originally in, thinking, why don't I have this stuff? I had the picture on my wall. It doesn't work like that. And it's it's criminal to promote such stupid ideas and such dangerous ideas that somebody can wish these things into existence, and that is not what the law of attraction is about at all. If you want to sit on the couch and your goal is to lose 10, 15, 20 kilos, and you're sitting there eating chips and chocolate and doing all the things that logically don't match that, that picture on the fridge of this, model-sized person, how the hell is that going to work? How can somebody explain that works? How can somebody have a picture of a dream home on their fridge, yet they're sitting gambling at the race course, blowing all their money, of their family's money, on something so frivolous, but expect magically this house is going to appear, that this, fairy godmother or this angel protector is going to send a check through the mail to get them this dream home? And this is the kind of stuff that I'm talking about, and it needs to stop. It really needs to stop. So when we're talking about law of attraction, it is about feeling that vibrational energy that matches that feeling if you had that item. And I don't understand why people don't get this through their heads. So, if you would like a beautiful property, we obviously have to work to get that. And if you're sitting there negative, so how is that attracting that property? If you're sitting there looking at the picture, how is that attracting that property? Yes, we do need the original idea and goal in mind, but we have to vibrationally match that energy. We have to feel and be of that vibrational energy to match that. So in order to do that, even at the most traumatic times, you need to find those things that make you find your bliss. When they say follow your bliss, when we start doing positive things and experiencing positive things, we find that more and more good things come to us that way. And that's law of attraction. So if you want these grand things, you need to be in that moment. You need to be in that exact moment all the time of feeling that way. So if you need to go sing, if you need to go dance, if you need to go cook, if you need to go do a course, you need to find your energy all the time of feeling, not thinking. If you're thinking and not feeling, then it's just, you may as well just piss your time up against a different wall, because it's not going to work that way. And it really drives me nuts to know that people actually are investing their time, money and energy into such stupid ideas and such dangerous ideas and such ideas that destroy lives in ways that you can't even imagine. And that's one thing that I need to really drill on home for people that are drawn to this particular area of this card, is this, this idea and this ideal of desire to have this optimism and this life of, prosperity and wonderful experience and all these, materialistic things. You're not going to get them if you don't get off your ass, and that's fact. You cannot wish things into existence. It doesn't work that way. You need to be of that vibrational energy. A good example of that is in regards to relationships. So we have a person that so desperately wants to be with this other person, but when they're thinking about this person, it's always a negative thing. It's always, oh, maybe they don't like me, maybe they're not interested, oh, they hate me, I'm this, I'm that. It's just this total opposition of the desire that they want. It's almost like self-sabotaging, really. So when we're wanting to manifest something into our lives, we have to behave but feel in a way that we have these things already. We have to, walk the walk and talk the talk like we have them already, and not in this weird delusional state. It's not like, a lot of people say, if you want a car, sit in it and pretend that you own it. It doesn't work like that, and that is incredibly backward thinking that something would come from, the mind of a child. It doesn't work like that. We're adults. We work in the world. We need to be having that temperance of our goals, our desires, but being in that vibrational energy to match that and to meet that, to come to meet it in the middle. Not to expect a strange shortcut that, it's like putting a picture of Disneyland on the wall and going, I would like Disneyland. Where's my check in the mail so I can buy Disneyland? And it's just stupid. And it's just beyond idiotic. So any reader or any person that believes in this kind of, if you think it and wish it, then you're going to get it. It's just stupid. And that's what leads to so many broken fucking lives. And it's something that really annoys me, as you can tell. So when it comes to being drawn to this area of optimism, this hole in the sky that's trying to break through, it is telling you need to be living and feeling in that moment. Thinking is not enough. If I could achieve everything by just thinking, I would be absolutely nowhere, because my ideas in my head come so hard and so fast and so many that it would be the most ridiculous thing in the world to assume that I would get all those automatically just because I want them. It's absolutely ridiculous. So this particular image is a reminder to be in that moment of that feeling. So pursue and follow those things. Yes, have those goals and dreams in mind. Put the pictures on your fridge if you have to. Put them somewhere. Yes, we need those goals, but we need the vehicle to get there. And that doesn't stop with your brain just wanting them. Okay? So that is a very special, long message to those people drawn to that. You need to be living in that moment of bliss all the time. And I don't care if you need to get in the car and drive half an hour to find that, if you need to go for a walk through a rainforest to find that happiness, if you need to go drive to the local RSPCA to surround yourself with animals that make you happy, if you need to volunteer at the local sanctuary, bird sanctuary, or whatever, you need to find that. And there's always time for that. And if you don't have time for that, then you're not going to get what you want. You need to be in that moment of happiness, because you're not going to get what you want by being of a lower vibrational energy. That's for sure. So if you have some crazed person that's money, money, I need money, money, I want this, I want that, materialism, oh, I've worked so hard and I want this stuff, and they're not even remotely happy, good luck, because they're never going to get it. You need to find your bliss. Find it, seek it, identify what those things are that make you happy. Those are your priorities, nothing else. If you have to do, crazy stuff, then safe and crazy stuff, unconventional stuff. If you need to go on thrill rides, roller coasters and stuff like that to feel that energy, it's just what you have to do. So if you're drawn to that area, you know what to do. So with this bright sunny side on the right, the same applies there. We see this sun breaking through. This is the image of optimism. It is the image of finally being re-energized and revitalized in your life, and those good things finally coming through to you. It is a reminder that you need to be quite conscious of exactly the same thing as I've just mentioned to those people that are drawn to that hole in the sky there too. It's one of putting yourself in that time and place of feeling. So when we look at the sun, it's not just good things are coming your way. It's one of a reminder that you need to put yourself in that position. That no magical magician is going to come down and sprinkle fairy dust on your life to go, good times coming now by magic. It's actually by you physically doing that and putting yourself and aligning yourself in a way that can sustain you in that happy, positive, evolutionary moment and thriving. And that's what that image is all about. So this card is not one that has those kind of wind of change properties that come through and come save you. It's one that it has a lot of reminders to it. It has hope, it has reminders, and it reminds you how to align yourself to get what you want. Now if you're drawn to these birds up the top, we see 3 of them. This has a tri energy, so you may find yourself, if you are single or even married, you could find yourself wedged between 2 other people. So you may be with somebody, but some other person may have some interest in you. And also this one can also be of families, because we see these 2 birds up the top are relatively the same size, and then we see a smaller bird underneath them. So this can represent a child. So for those people that are thinking about bringing a new child into their life or adopting and things like that, or focusing in on more spending time with that child or doing extra things for them, then this is the time to remind them that yes, it's a neat time to do that. Also, it is one of freedom too. Birds are always symbols of freedom, but they're also ones of perspective too. So whenever we see bird energy in cards, it's always a reminder that when we have problems in our lives, to really fly above them and over them, to see a different perspective in regards to our problems and situations, instead of sort of this claustrophobic, thinking of, from the inside out, which can lead to sort of a skewed interpretation of what's actually going on, which is kind of important. If you're drawn to the King of Clubs that's in the bottom corner, as I've mentioned before in Gypsy cards, the all the cards are linked to the traditional playing card deck. So this is a king card, which is a male card. So this will show that a male will be becoming influential in your life over the next couple of weeks too, in regards to bringing new and positive times into your life too. So don't be surprised if somebody's a little bit more present in your life, of that male energy. And sometimes I find that they're an older male energy too, because the king is always that older energy, whereas the jack is that younger energy or the child energy. So don't be surprised about that. If you're drawn to the number 6, we're drawn to the 6th of the month. So for this particular time, we're drawn to the 6th of December. So the first week of December to be quite wonderful in transition for you. So you may feel really sort of down and out through the first week of the month of December, then peaking up, starting, just before the second week of December, which is really good. And that's about it. So if you're actually drawn to the clouds is always, a symbol of movement, of transitional energy. It's, breaking those clouds apart and finally, shifting and changing. When we look outside, the clouds are always moving. So it's one about forward moving energy, which is really nice to have at the end of the year. So there may be certain areas of the card that I've not touched on that you may feel welcome to ask me about, and I can certainly look into that. I will mention there is, in the sunny bit on the right hand side, just below the sunburst, we see this sort of it seems to be a figure facing another figure. This is very much a soulmate kind of image. If you're not seeing it, then it's not going to apply to you, but if it does stand out to you straight away, then you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. And that is quite a wonderful time and connection of the soulmates. And positive times to be had there. If you're drawn to that hole in the sky up the top, not just that part, but we'll see a little face there that is angelic in nature. I often find that people drawn to this, and if you can't see it, then it's not for you. But if you are, then this is sort of, I would say, and consider it a sign from heaven that that particular person you've been asking about is, yes, present and watching over you. So if you can't see it, just ignore me. But those people that see this straight away is just going to click straight away to them. There's an area that is on the lower left in the grey, which features a face that's sort of looking up directly to these birds. If you're not seeing it, it doesn't apply to you. And this is the shape of a face also, which is a spiritual face. This is sort of a spirit guide energy face. So that is also in the darkness too, so expect to have some signs and messages pulling you through to lead you in the right direction if you're drawn to that. And I know this is going to sound really strange for people that are looking at this and go, what is she talking about? Where is this on the card? I can't see it. What is she talking about? She's crazy. But it will make sense to those people who see these things straight away. And also there's quite a few other things in this card that will stand out to people, but all in all, it would take me all day to sort of go through all those. But if you do have a question about what you're seeing in the card and what you're drawn to immediately without trying to look too hard, remember it needs to stand out to you, then feel free to leave a message on the Facebook page, or feel free to reply below on the video or via email. Either, it's fine. The Gypsy card deck that I'm using is the beautiful gilded one. It comes in the most gorgeous box, this sort of really hard cardboard box, and all of the sides of the cards have this beautiful gold gilding. So, and all the cards are glossy too. I finally found these from Book Depository. I'm going to put a link below in the description. A lot of people always ask me, what are these cards that you're using? So I'll put a link below there. I paid, I think it was like $39 for these cards originally, but through Book Depository, I think they're about $20. But I'll put the link there anyway, for you to grab them. And as you can learn, them as the weeks go on with each of the cards. So they're really wonderful cards to have and much easier to understand than tarot decks too. Tarot decks are extremely detailed and very, very hard to learn and to read, whereas the Gypsy decks, I find personally, the traditional way to read Gypsy decks is very different from the way that I do mine. Gypsy decks usually use all of the cards, where I don't, because it would take me several months to do to do these readings, which we don't want to do. So that's it for now. So check out the link below if you want to do your own Gypsy readings. Easy as that. Thank you so much for signing up to this beautiful VIP list for your free readings. Don't forget to share these with friends. They're free. That's it. So until next week, have a lovely day, and thank you for all your lovely comments and feedback on the readings. Until next time, have a lovely day. And this is the longest one we've done. It's like half an hour long. Jeez. Until next week. See ya.